নাভি ভাই তো অ্যাঙ্করিং এটা অনেকেই করে সবাইকে এসে ধন্যবাদ দিয়ে দিচ্ছিল প্রথমে, তাই না? সো ওখানে আমাদের শুধুমাত্র আমাদের ফটোগ্রাফার বা ভিডিওগ্রাফার যারা আছে লাভ লাইফ মেমোরিজ ওদেরকে দেওয়া হয়নি, এটা মিস করে গেছিলাম। আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে। জাভি অনেক ছটফট করতেছে, অনেক টেনশনে আছে, সব কিছু ঠিকমতো হচ্ছে কিনা। তারপর আমি রিকোয়েস্ট করবো জাভি ভাইকে যে স্টেজে এসে একটু বসার জন্য, আমরা আপনাকে সামনে দেখতে চাই। থ্যাংক ইউ জাভি ভাই। আচ্ছা, সো এখন আমরা আমাদের যে চিফ গেস্ট ওনার কাছ থেকে আমরা শুনবো। সো উনি হচ্ছে যে আমাদের ফেসবুকের বিজনেস ডেভেলপমেন্ট ম্যানেজার। তো আমরা এখানে ওনার কাছ থেকে যেটা টপিকগুলো শুনবো সেটা হচ্ছে যে ক্রস বর্ডার ট্যুর, মানে আমরা তো লোকাল আউটসাইড মার্কেটের ওদের কাছে রিচ করতে চাই, না ওই টার্গেট অডিয়েন্সের বাইরে থাকে। সো ক্রস বর্ডার ওদের কাছ থেকে কীভাবে হবে, তারপরে বেস্ট প্র্যাকটিসগুলো কী, বেসিক্যালি অ্যাডের জন্য বেস্ট প্র্যাকটিসগুলো কী সেটা দেখবো। তারপরে হচ্ছে আপকামিং কিছু টুলস আছে ফেসবুকে যেটা এখনো কোথাও মানে ওইভাবে ইয়ে করা হয় নাই বা যেটা এখনো ইউজ করা হয় না, বা আপকামিং কী কী টুলসগুলো আসতেছে সেটা নিয়ে হয়তো একটু কথাবার্তা বলবে। সো নাও আই উড লাইক টু রিকোয়েস্ট মিস্টার সাগর টু গিভ হিজ প্রেজেন্টেশন। Is the business development manager Facebook.
First of all, I'll just say that thank you all for being here. What I'm going to talk to you about is some very cool new features which we're going to present or which are happening in the next half of H2. What I'm also going to show you is a full funnel approach. I think the last presentation Nofir said that passion and aggression and then different sort of creatives you should follow. I'll show you an approach wherein I have done with my advertisers which has helped to get an ROI of 30x. So imagine you putting 100 taka and you're getting 3,000 taka, right? I'm not kidding. I'll show you an example right there. The other thing what I really want to focus on is, this is something I always do when I'm presenting at different countries, is creatives is very important. So what people do, I think you talked about Pinterest, you said you look at Pinterest. What I recommend now is to use certain apps which are free on your phone, and I'll show you slides. You can design creatives on the go, get higher engagement and higher possible conversion as well. Alright? So I want this session to be very interactive. I know you guys are tired. I got stuck in traffic for 2 hours to get here, and I know everyone here has been traveling for waiting for this presentation. So I just want to spend a lot of time. If you have a question, just raise your hand. I'll take a pause and I'll answer that question. Alright? The first thing I want to talk about is something around cross-border, right? So everyone is exporting or selling outside of Bangladesh? Yes? No? Maybe? Alright. So which countries do you sell in? Okay, let's see. USA? Europe? Which countries in Europe? UK. What else? France. Alright, so we have 3 countries right now. Was that? Spain, Germany. Okay, we have 5 countries now. Was that? Ireland. Okay, 6 countries. That's it. Was that? Italy. That's 7. Okay. Netherlands. Okay, so I'll ask you a question because I want to show you a tool now. Let's say you're advertising now in 7 countries, and you know there's a potential of advertising in 12 countries, like 5 more countries. How do you know to choose the next 5 countries? What if I tell you there's a tool at Facebook which is free to use, which if you tell Facebook here that if you are from Bangladesh, these are the 5 countries you definitely should target, right? So I'm giving the power in your hands right now, and I'll show you slides here. Is the tool is going to say to you, hey, you're living in Bangladesh, or you're living in India, or you're living in Singapore, which vertical do you fall in? Do you fall in e-commerce? Because I'm assuming here everyone is in e-commerce, right, doing t-shirt selling. But even if you're doing, let's say, you're selling a FMCG, you're selling like a product like a shampoo, it will tell you which are countries you should advertise based on certain costs, right? So I always say this, many small companies export to more countries than employees they have. Why I'm not saying this, because that there's so many people exporting to London, for example, right? Exporting UK or France, and France doesn't have the number of people actually there. So the competition is getting so severe that you need to expand our horizon in terms of reaching out to more number of countries. Alright, so we always say the cross-border checklist, and I want to spend some time here. So what you should be doing is, So there's certain key resources which you should be following in terms whenever you're advertising outside of Bangladesh. Alright? So first thing, you guys are using Business Manager here. Right? So let's say you have a Business Manager now, you add different ad accounts. There are two ways to go about it now. One is try to, if you have only one website, let's say your website is on Shopify or your website is in Magento or WooCommerce. If you have one website and you're selling in 7 countries, have 7 different ad accounts targeting each separate country. Right? That's rule number 1. The second rule is, and of course you guys know how to create an account, I want to spend time on it. The second rule is, if you have 7 different countries advertising and you have 7 different websites, try to have a pixel different for each website, right? Because a person who is in Italy who comes to a website, or a person who's in the US behaves very differently. You want to capture that pixel data very differently, and that's why I said different ad account. Now to my first question. Let's say you have 1 pixel because you only have 1 website and you're advertising to 7 accounts. So you create 7 different ad accounts depending on different countries. You use that 1 pixel because you only have 1 website, and you share that pixel across all 7 ad accounts. Right? You with me? Is that clear? Alright? So it's very, very simple to use. Some basic sanity checks before I show you the tool. The other thing which I always say is, you can use a single page to translate that in a different languages in different countries. So what I mean to say is, what you can do is, so if you see this on the bottom right, it says translate automatically. What typically it means is, if I write in English, I target in Italy or I target in France, automatically it will translate into French or Italy. Very, very simple to use, right? So no brainer here, right? Imagine you're targeting Spain, you don't want to waste your time, that's it. Very, very simple to use. All the slides which I'm showing right now, I'm going to share it with Zafi. He can post in the group, totally or shareable. So don't worry about not missing out on info, alright? Moving on. Alright, so what you can do is, as I said, you can create one page post. You can select different languages. You can choose another language to write and publish. One thing I want to point out here in the next slide is, okay, so remember I talked about one website and I talked about you having 7 websites. So imagine your business starts evolving now and you want to have a Shopify store for each country. So let's say US, 1 Shopify store, UK, 1 Shopify store, France, 1 Shopify store. What you want is to create something called global structure. You can try this out with Uber right now. So what it means is, if anyone from France logs in through Uber, so they only have one website, or sorry, one URL on Facebook. So Uber on Facebook is facebook.com/Uber. Wherever you go in which country, the URL will be the same, but what will happen is the content will be from that local country. So let's say I am from Singapore, right? I log in to facebook.com/Uber. The content is all about Singapore. When I log in from US, the content is all about US. When I log in from France, content is all about France. So we call that global structure because you're using one URL, but the content is very, very different and localized. So you merge all your 7 different pages into one single structure so that you don't have to create again and again, right? So if you're evolved, if you have different websites, as I said, this is something you should be definitely going and use. Alright, this is the last thing I'll probably say in this before I show you the tool. So guys use Messenger here, right? So I'm so happy to see, because I'm kind of researching now something called conversational commerce, which typically means is, so let's say Zafi is selling something, I ping him on his page, I ask him what's the price, we get talking, I pay him through Bcash or cash on delivery, and he delivers. So it's a conversation which keeps going on, right? This is something we've seen in Bangladesh. We've recently published a case study with Hur Nusrat. So this lady who sells saris spends very less, but it's all about conversational commerce. The point I'm trying to make in these 2 slides is, have instant replies set up on your page. That's really, really important, because if you come on your page and if people don't respond, that's a very bad sign, very bad customer experience. One thing I'll also say in the slide, if you're that evolved and you have that tech support, bots is another way. So if you want to get there, have bots integrated, we have an API open. So typically what it means is I go to the page, automatically tells me you want to buy a t-shirt, jeans. I say t-shirt, it'll tell me color, white, pink, purple. I click on purple, it'll say medium, small size. So it's all automated, right? That's another level which you want to get into. Alright, so once you've set up all this is the tool which I was referring to, right? So what you need to do is, you need to go to this tool, and I'll send you the URL. So what happens is, once you click on start exploring, you enter your country, which let's say in this case is Bangladesh, right? What it will tell you is, from Bangladesh, these are the top 5 countries you need to go in terms of the conversion index, in terms of the cost index. So if you see carefully, there is your markets from Bangladesh is also Brazil, it's also Mexico, it's also Indonesia, it can be India as well, right? So what I'm trying to do is, I'm having like a base, or the system what it does is, or the tool here it does, you're having a base as India, and based on your cost efficiency, it's telling you these are the 5 different countries which you can target based on, of course, the size. So if you see on the left, we are kind of pulling out the countries based on the size of the population or number of MAPs, and then there is a conversion index. What's the possibility of conversion in that particular country, or what's the possibility in terms of cost? So this is this is free tool. First of all, anyone can go and use it. I would really encourage to play around with this. The second thing which I always say is use audience insights. People know about audience insights? Yeah, I see a lot of people there didn't raise their hand. Okay, one thing I'll say in audience insights, so if you're using, it's very simple. You can upload an audience, you can see how they behave on Facebook in terms of their interests, in terms of education qualification, in terms of the demo. What you should be doing is, in terms of audience insights, create audiences for different regions you're targeting. What I mean to say is, remember I talked and we said 7 countries, we said 5 countries. Have separate audiences for each country created. Upload that, see how these audiences are behaving, so that you can create separate campaigns for them, right? So this is a very effective tool to understand how people are reacting to it. The last bit, the last 2 points I'll say, so international, you guys heard about international lookalike? Okay, so very few, right? Okay, so this is a very interesting thing which we've come up with. So let's say I start with USA as a country to export t-shirts, right? So let's say in the last 7 days, I get 1,000 t-shirts, right? And I sell a certain amount. Now I know, looking at the previous tool where it showed Brazil, it showed Indonesia, that I want to target Indonesia. What you can do is, you can target people. It's on the bottom right, it says, so if you see here, right, it says purchases currently in that country. So what you'll do is, you will create an audience of people, a custom audience of people who bought from you in US, but what you will do is, in the target country, you will put as Indonesia. So what it will do is, it will take the audience from the US and find lookalikes in different countries, right? That is something you should definitely do in terms of international, because once you've cracked, let's say, one country, it automatically helps you expand to other countries. Alright, this is another thing which is called regional targeting. You guys have heard, anyone has heard of regional targeting, worldwide targeting? I've been using, sir, you've been using it? How effective is it for you? Is it really effective for you as well? Okay. So this is a very, very simple thing to do, right? So what we've done is, so if you see, it's very, very simple, right? To add more locations, in the location you type worldwide, right? What it does is, you can target countries basically in terms of APEC, APEC, right? The all prospective countries. What you can do is, you can target a broad horizon of countries. What it allows you to do is, when you select worldwide targeting is, let's say there is a base of 20 countries. The system will automatically optimize for the best performing country. So when you're exporting, selecting worldwide targeting really, really makes sense. Couple of more things I want to point out. Dynamic ads. So guys are using Shopify, WooCommerce or BigCommerce here? Okay, no one is using. No Shopify here? Okay, so very few. So what do people normally use to create websites here? Sorry, I just want to understand now. What do you use to create a website?
Most of these guys are using Teespring platform.
Okay, Teespring. Okay, got it. Okay, so I don't think you have a dynamic ad integration there, or you do have a DP integration.
No, we have a post in the
Okay, so what DPA does is on the if I just to explain the funda of it is basically you go to let's say your particular Teespring store, you go back to Facebook, the ad will follow you. So it's a real-time retargeting which happens, which is technically as well as possible. This is the last portal which I'll probably say. I'll send a URL of course as well. There are different insights which you can use here in terms of seeing what the international insights are when you're kind of expanding your horizon in terms of cross-border. Some success stories which I just want to point out. This is from APAC. Sorry, if you see here, what I'm pointing here is they want to increase revenue, and what they did was they selected worldwide targeting. So just by selecting worldwide targeting, it helped push the revenue about 2-3x. The other thing which people did here, if you carefully see, is what people they target. Few not targeted countries like US, Canada, but the ad format, if you see it carefully, it uses a lot of videos, a lot of, if I'm not wrong, a lot of canvas as well, right? It's somewhere, and if you see their ads, the return is 6.6x. So what it did was, if you think about the perspective, it knows the data, or let's say the bandwidth is very high in terms usability, like 3G is there, let's say in the US or in France or Germany. It created a lot of videos with call to action for the market there to kind of help push that as well. So the point I'm trying to make here is, in a couple of slides back I showed you go international. This will give you insights for you to make campaigns for that country, right? So let's say when you're researching about Germany, it will tell you insights about Germany, and then you can use that to kind of create content around that. Alright, I'll take a pause here before I go to full funnel. If you guys have any questions right now about cross-border, I'm happy to take right now. Okay, people are either my presentation was really bad or you understood everything. Okay, go ahead.
One of my clients who is from China, whenever we are using the automatic translation, Chinese is not converted in Bengali as well as for communicating.
Yeah, so very fair question. So what we're doing now is there's a team called internationalization, which their whole purpose is to work on translation to see whether it's the right translation or not. To be honest, it's a big challenge right now because in India it's only Hindi as well, and there's so many regional languages right now. Having said that, you're absolutely right on track. This is the feedback we've taken because if you saw that thing, that's a very, very new thing which we've come up with. Over the period of time, we're going to focus more on regional languages. Right now, if I'm not wrong, there are 9 to 10 languages, which are, let's say, close to perfection. But we are striving towards that. Have some patience, to be honest, but we're in a direction to kind of have an exact, let's say, translation from, let's say, A to B language. Any other question? Go ahead.
There is a restriction to target more active page, but to target more active page. Do you have any proposal?
Sorry, I didn't get the question, I'm sorry.
We cannot target more active Facebook page.
Active Facebook page?
There is a limitation in the page inside that we cannot put all the pages that can be targeted.
Oh, okay. So pages you're seeing. Okay, sorry, I get it. Sorry about that. Sorry. So the thing here is, first of all, we will never allow you to target every page. The way the algo works, so I wanted to actually stay on cross-border, but since you've asked the question, what we're trying to do is, there is a certain algo which goes to the back end, which depends on the number of likes and the page interaction. Once that page hits that limit, then only that page will be open for targeting. So opening all pages for targeting will never be, because otherwise it's very easy, right? You come up with a page, you target all your competitors, and then you get all the audience and engagement, right? So that thing will never happen. Even if I look at India, when I used to manage a lot of clients, only 2 of my clients had pages which could be targeted. The rest 48 didn't have a page. So we will never get there, to be very honest. Alright, so any questions on cross-border? Because I'll take any questions after the Q&A, after my presentation, but Alright, okay. So what if I tell you today, there is this approach, right? And this is a tried and tested model. I'll show you a live example from Australia, which people have done, which helps you increase your ROI by 30x. So do you want to try this or no? Of course, you said of course. Okay. Alright, so I'll see your ad account and I'll probably come back to you after 2 months if you don't try this one. Alright? Okay. So the approach is very simple, right? And I'll tell you the main gap or the main thing which people do, people don't understand about Facebook, right? So if you understand the marketing objective, there is branding and then there is performance, right? Brands help you in a higher ad recall, performance helps you in creative or conversions, right? So if you see this example right there, we're going through a marketing funnel where we are doing a brand awareness with videos. We are capturing audiences who've seen videos. We're moving towards clicks. We're sending people to the website. We're moving towards conversion, DPA, and then getting people converted, right? So what people did was, so this is again, so all this data without naming advertiser is a true story, to be very honest. So what they did was, if you see, they started with video views. I'll jump with each one of them as well. They went to website clicks, they did conversion, they went to DPAs, and of course at the last they kind of build loyalty, right? So what they did was, if you see, they kind of created videos with different sort of messaging here, just to test out which video works. What they did then was, it remarketed audiences based on different videos. So imagine this, right? You create video number 1, you target it to interest number 1, you create video number 2, interest number 2, just to find out which is working for you. Then what it did was, it created dynamic product ads, and of course then it remarketed. One thing I'll probably say is, the key thing here is, you need to know your purchase cycle. For example, there's a brand I used to work with in India called Ustra, which sells a male grooming product. We could figure out the average buying cycle there is around 7 days. So it takes 7 days for a person to see ad and buy that product. And it takes 28 days for a person to repurchase. So I bought it, let's say 7 days. After 28 days, I go ahead and buy it, right? So the point I'm trying to make here is, you need to figure out when you're selling t-shirts or you're selling cups, whatever through the Teespring platform, what is the purchase cycle which you have? How people are frequently buying that particular cycle? Because what I'll tell you later on is, you need to create that intervals of that number of days. So what they did was, if you see video views, so if you see carefully, what it did was, it's targeting different interests, right? And it's targeting different videos to different interests, just to test out which video will work against which interest, because they need to do a A/B testing to figure that stuff out. Then what it is was, it targeted people who viewed 3 seconds, so this can be a 10 seconds, this can be 75%, 50%, and it excluded people, because it's an acquisition campaign, of people who visited the website. So it's excluding 65 days visitors, and it's targeting people who have watched 3-day videos. Now the 65 number can be very different from you as well, right? So this is one advertiser, this did 35 or 65 days, but if you feel 30 days works for you, 28 days, 14 days, that's the number you should be putting, right? Because it's complete acquisition you're doing right now. Then what they did was, if you see, they're moving towards website clicks, so you run the video, and now what you're doing is, you're remarketing the video, right, to different interests and different remarketed audience which you've created. So you're running website click campaign for 4 ad sets. 2 ad sets are interest based, and 2 ad sets are based on the video audience which you've created, right? And of course you follow this path. So what happens, the other thing was, what I would probably say is, always see where or which page people are spending most time on, because that will help you create audiences. So if you see this approach here, the first section, they're not using a full funnel, right? So they haven't used the view category, which is the time spent, right? And here, what they've done is, they've input a view category, and then they've gone down the funnel. The point I'm trying to make here is, they figured out that the time spent on the pricing page and the paint color page were the highest. So when they ran the website click campaign, the end URL was that, because it found out the time spent on that particular 2 websites was huge, and then it moved down the funnel. Sorry. The point I'm trying to make here is, you need to figure out where or which URL you're getting most traffic from. Then only you can go ahead and create audiences and move down the funnel. Alright, then let's talk about conversion. So this is a very tricky thing, right? So if you see this very, very carefully, because if you figure this out, you'll be able to make a lot of money, I can guarantee you that, right? So remember I talked to you about the Ustara example. I said 7-day like purchase cycle was 7 days, the repurchase cycle was 28 days. So what they did was, they did a 3-day add to cart excluding purchase. They did a 7-day add to cart excluding 3-day. They looked at people who viewed content in the last 7 days including purchase for a specific handwear because they knew the URL interaction is higher there. The same thing, looked at footwear 7 days excluded purchase because they knew these people have watched it or seen that came to that URL. And of course the last bit is people who've added to cart it, but more than the average bucket size which is there. The point I'm trying to make here is, what the advertiser is trying to do is, it's slicing and dicing, right? Because it knows for a fact, once it figures out which ad set is performing, automatically it will put more money into it. So that number 3 or that number 7 will totally depend on the purchase cycle. So your purchase cycle is 14 days, I'll probably say it should be 7 and 14 versus 3 and 7. Right? That is something internally you need to figure it out. But have 2 ad sets like this, have 2 ad sets based on time spent on that URLs, and the last you can have people who added to cart but large, but are higher than the bucket size, the average bucket size, and then retarget them as well. So I wasn't joking when I said, when they ran the campaign, they had a 31 RX. So they spent about $28,000 and the sales was 870K. Right? So this is not a lie, this is a case study right there in front of you. For legal reasons, I can't name the advertiser. It's Australia-based, Sydney-based advertiser which actually ran this. Right? So DPAs, I think I already talked about it. So for DPA, the ROI is a little higher when you kind of scale up. Why I say this, because it's, people have already come to your website, going to Facebook, they've already sort of have that interest shown. But one thing I'll probably say in DPA is, try running DPAs if only you have significant amount of traffic on your website, else it won't perform. It needs to have certain amount of traffic for it to be retargeted. Very cool thing, the other 2 slides I want to point out here, if you see, what they did was, they did a 7-day purchase and they did a 14-day purchase minus 7-day purchase, right? In terms of retargeting again. Again, this totally depends on your purchase cycle here. It can be 28 days, it can be 5 days, it can be 2 days. That is something you need to figure out here as well. The last bit I'll probably say here is, when you're driving real purchase, I'll borrow what Nafir said, that you need to show them certain message, right? So what people do is, people show they care about them. So what people do is, let's say you've bought something. I've bought a t-shirt today which says, be an engineer, you said? Trust me, I'm an engineer. I'm an engineer, no one trusts me, to be honest. but let's say, people have bought Trust Me, I'm an engineer. You want to run a campaign, let's say in August now, you retarget them saying, hey, it was awesome being an engineer, and then you show another design. So you're kind of showing them that you care for being an engineer. So your messaging becomes emotion led, but it's exactly what he said. It's a no-brainer, a call to website. Incentivize with prices. I say this a lot, right? Example. Let's say you've added to cart, or you're targeting people who added to cart, but they have not purchased, but their bucket size was higher than the average bucket size which you usually get. You want to incentivize them with like a freebie or a price because you know their buying will be a little higher. So imagine your average bucket size is $5, but there's a lot of add to cart people who have bought $10, but if they're not converting because of bandwidth issue, payment issue, then it totally makes sense to target those people because they are likely to buy more with their incentivization. That can be a price, that can be a freebie, that can be anything. The last thing, I think you already know this because all t-shirt sellers are doing this. free shipping, right? I mean, I know the hack which people do. They kind of include the cost in their cost price and do free shipping. But that is something I say a no-brainer because you already must be doing this. So I'll take a pause here again. So I'm done with full funnel. Any questions, any clarifications you have, feel free to raise your hand. I'm happy to answer the question. Okay. Again a boring one, right? So how come there are like when someone presented me, I had like 10 questions to ask. Okay, I think the next slide will probably be interesting, alright? So customizing your best pattern in terms of custom audiences. The only thing I'll point out here is the biggest mistake what people do. The last point. If you are targeting my dad, who's going to be 60 years old, let's say next year, right? And if you're targeting me, and if you're targeting my younger sister, the creative cannot be the same. If you're using the same creative, if you're using the same messaging, you're doing something wrong. That is the level number 1 of Facebook right now. If you solve your content, the messaging, if you solve your targeting, you're very good to go. Right? This is the biggest mistake that people do. That's why I pointed it out. Of course, you're already doing custom audiences, you're already targeting, but people are not doing different messaging. That is the number 1 takeaway from this slide. The other thing which I will probably say is we've come up with engagement audiences. So engagement audiences typically means is you can create audiences based on videos, based on canvas ads, based on interaction with the page, interaction with the post in number of certain days. That is all something you should be looking back. So imagine you have a Facebook page and you want to target people who've interacted with your page or a post in the last 7 days. You can go ahead and do that right now. You can create an audience inside of engagement, create that and create lookalike or create a custom audience and target those people. This is a very interesting thing. So let's say you have your store on Teespring and of course you have a pixel. Now your store, like my wife sells on Teespring, right? And I was troubling Zafar for some time last month asking. So what we tried was, so let's say she sells fashion jewelry, right? Necklaces, earrings, right? So there'll be different URLs for every category. What you can do on Facebook now is you can target people based on specific URLs, but what you can do is you can say, I want to target the 5% top users by time spent. I want to target people 25% by time spent. So based on time spent on that specific URL, you can create an audience. Because if I have spent 5 minutes versus Zafir spent only 1 minute, I'm likely to buy more. Right? So that is again something you should definitely go and do. So I think I talked about this already, targeting multiple targeting creatives. The point I'm trying to make here is you should have different targeting and different creatives. I think one thing which I kind of in my research I've seen in emerging markets like India and in Bangladesh is people don't use a behavioral targeting a lot. So while people will use interest like shopping, whatever behavior, people don't go to behavioral targeting. So people won't use like people who have used travel app. There is a very effective buying for TV in the US. So you can target people by TV viewership, right? Those are the categories we should be using for behavior when you're targeting export market. So that is probably again a missing bucket which you're not using right now.
Yeah. Another thing I would like to add that not all of the behavior targeting is available here in Bangladesh. Like there are the US UK market, like say, as you mentioned that about the purchase behavior, like say I'm going to sell a dog item, dog niche item. So I'm trying to target buyers behavior, purchase behavior as dog owners or dog products or something like that, but we don't have all the behaviors options right here.
Yeah, so I'm kind of working on that. So what people are trying to do is they're creating an account in US and then they get an option. So I think we've talked about this already. We're trying to enable that because there's a big cross-border initiative going on. To be very transparent, the Vietnam team is leading it. Vietnam cross-border owing to Teespring and other platforms is really up. So we're trying to figure that out, but right now the hack, you're absolutely right, you're absolutely bang on target. Right now the hack is people are creating accounts there, but you shouldn't be doing that, to be very honest. There are some things we're working on. So some, like in India, there is this behavior targeting which is opened 4 months back called consumer classification, which typically means is you can target people based on their behavior in terms of buying. So you want to target high intent people or middle intent people. So it's getting there. As I said, I don't want to like say it on the record, but it's US led. But we're trying to have our own struggle, or not, I will not say own push in terms of conversational commerce, in terms of other things from here. So it will definitely be there. Yeah, so I think I've covered this as well. You create customized based on different audiences, because you can't target my dad and my sister with the same creative. It doesn't add value, because your chances of failure will be big in one and chances of success will be in the other. The last thing I'll probably say in this slide is something about overlapping audiences. So I think one thing which people don't do very well when they start with Facebook is, so they'll have two ad sets when they're starting, and they'll do interest targeting. So let's say they'll do 18 to 34 males living in, let's say, US, who have interest in shopping. The second, exactly same, 18 to 34 males living in the US and shopping. You'll have a creative number 1 here, which is engineer creative, and you'll have a creative number 2 here, which is doctor creative. The point I'm trying to make here is, because ad sets are same, the way the Facebook algo is, the ad sets compete with each other in terms of delivery. If they are targeting the same audience, you will cannibalize, it will lead to competitive CPC or a CPM, whatever bidding higher. So try to have a minimum of overlap of audience. The way you can do it is, you can go to the audience tool, you can select a custom audience or a saved audience, you can select 2 or more audiences, and it will tell you that what's the percentage overlap. Having said that, it's very hard to have a 0% overlap. It's a no-brainer. I always suggest my clients have an overlap less than 20%, you're good to go. But if you have an overlap which is 70%, 80%, or in the long run, you'll lead to a higher CPM or CPC cost. So that is something you should be always wary of. The other thing which people make a big mistake is when they're making a new user acquisition campaign. So if you remember my slide, I said 3-second video, exclude people who've come to the website in the last 65 days. So what you should be doing is, people, you want to target new people, so let's say lookalike audiences or add to cart have not purchased, exclude people who've purchased. So whenever you're doing interest targeting or behavior or whatever, exclude people who've already bought from you, because you're going on a user acquisition campaign, right? For a remarketing campaign, you have a separate ad sets of people who've bought from you. Couple of more things I'll say is the 3 and 4 you can combine. Don't go too low on targeting. What we've seen is, if you're targeting and your potential target audience is just 50,000 or 20,000, the CPM cost will go higher. And if your target audience is 50 million, of course your CPM cost will be low, but you'll be like hitting a bullet in like nowhere, right? So try to have like a mid-scale. I normally say, depending on the market, it should be anywhere between 200,000 to 2 million, right? The average potential reach when you kind of launch your campaign. So that should be like your thinking when you're kind of running a campaign. Alright, one thing I want to talk about the Facebook ad auction here is, so one thing is, of course, your bid plays into part. So let's say you're doing a $2 bid versus a $3 bid, automatically a $3 bid is even more important. But what also matters is the action rate. So let's say I bid $2, right? For the same audience, Zafi bids $2 as well. But his CTR or his action, whatever that action rate is higher, and his relevance score here of that creative is higher, his ad will be shown to that user first versus me. Right? So whenever you're thinking in terms of creating a campaign, it's not only bid. Not only bid will help you win. It has to be bid, whatever the action rate. That's why we keep on telling people, improve your conversions, improve your CTRs. And the last bit, of course, is you need to figure out your relevance score. Because if your relevance score is higher, more so or not, you're likely to get more conversions in. The other thing which I always say is, so there's a big debate where people ask, so I'll ask you as well, daily budget or lifetime budget? So daily, okay. So dailies, okay, less dailies. Lifetime? Okay. What are the other ones doing then? There are only 2 options here, lifetime or budget. Are there other people not running campaigns or? Okay, so my suggestion is, I mean, this is just me from experience. If you're running like a week-long campaign or like a 3-day, I prefer lifetime budget. because it helps more so not, it helps the system to optimize in a longer duration. Daily I prefer when you have one campaign which you know you'll keep on running for the entire 30 days, 50 days, 60 days, then it makes sense because you know this this clicker will sell, so you know that hero product already, then it makes sense. But more so not, I always encourage to have lifetime budget. The other thing is, setting up is a very big confusion. People say, Kush, should I do a 1 day click conversion? Should I do a 7 day click conversion? Right? So it's a very, honestly, if I give you an answer, it's not 100% will be accurate, but I'll tell you what we have found out. It totally depends on how people react and buy to your particular page. So imagine this. I click on his t-shirt design today. I buy within that day or within the next day. Or I click on his t-shirt design today and buy in the next 7 days. The point I'm trying to make here is, especially in India, what we've seen is people do a lot of impulse buys. When I'm saying impulse buy, they see a product, they'll go ahead and buy that time. In that sense, or in that behavior, 1 day click makes sense. For a woman, I mean, I'm not being racist here to be very honest, but what we've seen is the 7 day click really works. Because if I show my design to my sister, she'll be like, yeah, I'll show it to my mom, I'll show it to my friend, then we'll figure out. So that decision buying is true, she's laughing, right? It's true because the buying cycle is low, it's low, right? What we've also seen is women need to be shown more impressions compared to men because men buy a lot of impulse versus women, right? The point I'm trying to make here is it needs to figure out what targeting you're doing and then what sort of product you're selling, and it's selling in 1 day or it's selling in 7 days. Then it totally boils down. I always say this. Where's the example? The next slide, I think. Yes. Try to have 15-20 conversions or 15-25 conversions. Once you have that figure, you will be able to understand, or the system will automatically start optimizing. Let's say if you only have 1 conversion or 2 conversions a week, you're not giving the system enough data to optimize for an event. So let's say you're running a website conversion campaign and you're optimizing for purchase, but you're not getting enough purchases in a week, then it is not beneficial to run a website conversion campaign for purchase. Then it makes sense to run to a add to cart or to an event, because you need to have that 15-20 events or conversions for the system to optimize for you. So that is another thing you should be thinking about. Okay, this is a no-brainer. I always say you should target the ad to the right audience. It says the relevance score. The relevance score is dependent on a couple of things. The most important thing relevance score is dependent on is how the first 500 to 1000 people will react to your ad. If the first, let's say 1000 people don't find your creative or don't find your messaging useful, none of them interacts, your relevance score will go down. Because let's say the Facebook algo, the way it works is, it wants to have content which is useful and which is good for everyone, right? They want to be as interactive as well. So if there is no interaction in those particular 1000 impressions, it's giving a signal that that creative is not important to be on Facebook, and that's why the relevance score goes down. So that you have to be really, really careful of whenever you're creating a campaign, what sort of messaging and who are you targeting? Because if the relevance score becomes higher, automatically you'll see the number of impressions, the number of reach, the number of conversions go up. Alright, I'll take a pause here and before I move towards the awesome stuff of showing you different creatives. But any questions there? I know I've been a very boring presenter and you're not been asking a lot of questions, but any questions? Talk about, okay, you guys, go ahead. So,
topic related questions. Topic related.
So I'll take all questions later, but I just want to cover that bit if you want to ask any questions from that perspective. No? Go ahead. No. Okay, go ahead.
Since you went on scaling and other stuff, so like last May 20, Facebook had an update of its Pixel, new Pixel, launched its new Pixel. So many of the people are saying that it's affecting their business and as well the maturity level. Like say, it's being matured on ad set level.
It's matured.
yeah, ad sets are pixel is being matured on ad sets. So is it now going to be niche based or ad set based? I mean, how the new pixel is working with?
So there is no new pixel, to be honest. The new pixel which happened was last year Q3 and Q4. So earlier what we used to do is there was one base pixel. So if I go to technicalities, there was one base code, and there were different events over it. So there was one base code that was across, and then different events. So there were two pixels actually before. So if I go rewind to 1.5 years back, there were two Facebook pixels. One was called the custom audience pixel, and one was called the conversion pixel. But what we found more and more in the global markets was, it's from a technicality implementation perspective, it's tough, right? So you may understand, my sister won't understand. She's like, okay, 2 pixels, what do I do with 2 pixels now, right? Then we had one pixel wherein base is common, and they have different events in. The way we are moving now is for the less mature advertisers. We're trying an option. I'm not too sure where you read this, but you're right on track. We're trying an option wherein the implementation of the pixel becomes much easier. So right now, if you have to do still copy paste, right? You have to copy and then paste around different URLs. Versus, let's say in Teespring, you put it and then it's across all, right? So we're trying to experiment with that in the long run, because we're seeing, you guys are pretty mature. You're selling stuff, right? When I started advertising for my sister, she didn't even know about page post engagement. So you can imagine, right? So I had to explain, Kanika, this happens, you get like, comment, share, right? So that's the level of maturity which people don't understand digital, right? So we're moving in that direction, but from that perspective, there is absolutely no change. You had a question, sorry.
Thank you for explaining the relevance. I had a question regarding that.
Go ahead.
You answered very well. I have another question. All our students most of them are here students or have some low budget.
So I'm sorry?
With low budget of promotion,
Oh,
still some SMEs have low budget to promote ad sets. They told that we have use display or A/B testing or
Yes.
different creatives for
Yes.
different audiences.
Yes.
How they can manage smartly with low budget?
Yeah, fair question was. So the answer there I give is, if you have 10 products, and to be honest, right, if you don't have budget, only go to or only advertise the top 2 products. Then don't do 10 products, because figure out small, because to be honest, right, if I start advertising, I can't compare with GP or I can't compete with Banglalink, right? They have deep pocket, they have money.
Also, we are promoting their products to have their ad budgets.
Yeah.
Free to sell products. So Teespring is doing this for us.
Okay.
With free sales.
Oh, this I didn't
have
know.
the ad budgets to $100 to $300.
See, here you go. But yeah, I'll probably say start small, choose the hero products before scaling.
Related one question.
Yeah.
Is there any standard for Facebook promotion? Asset $10, $5?
Sir, sir?
Any standard? There is I think that you have to answer it hard. Is there any standard for a promotion? $5, $10?
Standard promotion, you're saying?
Yeah, I don't know.
I suggest that what to do. Okay, you give it for $5 or $7 is working better,
Yeah.
or $9 is working better for
Yeah.
this month.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, is
Oh, so there is no right answer for it, to be honest. There is no right answer. I mean, I want all your budget, to be honest, right? But honestly, there is no right answer. You can't, I can't say, okay, today $5 will work, today $7 will work, or today $1 bid will work. It's like stock market, it's like buy and sell. If their number of advertisers become up, the cost will become up. If the number of advertisers low, the audience is less, the cost is less. Like for example, I'll give you an example of during what happens in Diwali in India. In Diwali, the CPM costs go up by 20%. Because there are some seasonal advertisers who just advertise during Diwali. Then they don't advertise.
Well, I think I have some clients who promote the ad by $50 per day.
Sure.
And for 7 days, within the 1 day, with the views reach, views engagement, they post that and cancel that. It affect our accounts.
Sorry, your question was $50 I run a campaign and then I pause it.
That was.
And then?
And then never run it again.
So why do you pause it and then what's the...
Our clients want to raise much more by $50 for 7 days, and then they post the account.
No, I didn't understand it again, sorry.
Yeah, let me clear. People want to promote one t-shirt for $50 for 2 days.
Okay.
One day, today, tomorrow, $50. He was going $50 spending. After 12 hours, he posts that,
Okay.
and he never deactivated the account.
Okay.
And
Okay.
is it hampering or anything?
No, why is it hampering? If you got sales, then it's okay. It's no point. But if you're not running the ads again, what's the point of? I'm not clear on that. But if you're pausing it, it won't happen. To some extent, we take in account how the ad account and the campaign of the ad sets are performing. So let's say there is an ad account which is running for the last 1 year, and there is a new ad account, and both are running the same things. History will be taken into account. Any other question before I move on to the? Yeah, go ahead. Sorry again. I'm sorry. Facebook ad performance. Go ahead. Do you wanna like come? Sorry, in the middle and ask. I can't.
जोड़े और सामने
Go ahead.
Recently, I have seen a video page study from YouTube. Actually, those guys was trying to run a test Facebook ad one to justify the Facebook real performance. What are they getting from Facebook these days? Actually, how much the ads actually are performing? So actually, he created a page based on cat for the cat lover, but actually he puts only the necessary information. Okay, only the necessary that is needed for creating an ad. There is no picture that can never come up. Only a black picture and something. Then he ran a campaign. Okay, there is nothing to love actually in that particular page. He ran a campaign for within few hours. He got like 500 likes, but no comments.
500 likes.
Like,
Okay.
but no comments.
Okay.
The question is, why customer why didn't like?
So why is it?
Why the customer giving a like?
Okay.
There was nothing
Sure,
to love.
sure.
That's my question. Most of the like in the most of the pages are from countries like Bangladesh,
Sure.
India,
Sure.
Egypt.
Sure.
Why? Are there manipulating the algorithm?
No. So there's nothing wrong with the algo. I'll tell you what the way advertising works globally. This is not Facebook. This is probably around Google, YouTube, everywhere. 80% of the clickers are probably 20% of the buyers. My mom has never bought online. She loves clicking pictures and she loves commenting on pictures. Right? It's a true story, right? I mean, you can ask people around. I personally have bought one. I shouldn't be saying, but seeing one Facebook ad in my entire 4 years in digital. The point I'm trying to make here is it's not necessary it will translate to sales. And that is why when in my full funnel approach, when I showed you, was even not there. There was no page post engagement. I said videos, I moved towards clicks, I moved towards conversion branding. So the point I'm trying to make is there are some people there, like my mom, who just like liking pictures and not buying. And the audience is 2 billion people on Facebook globally, right? So even if there are 20% of such people, which I know there are 80%, the 50 is easy to get, which you said. Any other questions before I move to, yeah, go ahead.
Can you target the relationship capacity? That means based on mom. And we can target based on mom. And who play based on but whose mom inspired him. So we want to target the mom of this person. Can we target this?
He's just a guest if they can target like the mom of the baseball player.
Oh, okay. So mom of a baseball player. No, you can. No, technically you can't. To be honest, you can't. What's the use case for that? Why do you want to do that? Why would you want to do that? I just want to understand. Technically you can't because you can just say married and then you can say interest, but you can't target my mom technically. No, you can't do that. But why do you want? I just want to understand. Why do you want to do that?
Sometimes we design a T-shirt for the mom of who likes baseball.
So you can just.
We can get more engagement.
Like, so the hack there is, of course, you target moms with interests. That's the only way you can do it. But yeah, there is no hack to it right now, because we can't target relations of people right now. In short, Cool. Any other question before I move in? Yeah, okay. I'll take one last question.
There, right?
No. Yeah, go ahead.
I have $5 project,
First, five?
$5 project campaign.
$5 budget.
So if I run my ad in the morning and off my ad at midnight, if there is any problem with active or
So you start running a campaign in the morning and till the evening for $5.
yes.
So the question is?
My question is if I run my campaign at 12 a.m.
Okay.
and off that campaign at 12 p.m.
Okay.
So if whether is my campaign effect negative?
No, there shouldn't be an effect. No. You're targeting based on certain duration of the day. If you feel, no, there should be no negative thing. If your relevance score is high enough and you're getting conversion, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and if what I expect, I don't get this nothing from that campaign. So I off in night and on the morning.
Yeah. So technically there should be no effect to your campaign.
So what is very effective?
Oh, the cost. Why are you asking? The cost varies because most people are active during the day. Some people like to interact in the night. Like for example, what you've seen the trend in e-com. What we've seen the trend in e-com in India is people try to buy from 6 to 10 p.m. in the night. So what people try to do is in the morning they run branding based campaigns because you're on your mobile, and when you go back you have strong connection or strong Wi-Fi or you have your desktop, then you go ahead and buy it. So people do all that hacks, but technically it shouldn't affect your ad account. If your relevance scores are high, you're targeting the same person, your messaging is right, technically it shouldn't affect. Cool. Alright, so what I want to now show you is no worries.
Transfer it to this one.
No, it's okay. I'll just keep my Alright, so okay, I'll tell you this very cool thing which we're trying to do now is, so what people earlier what used to do is they never used to think about designing for mobile, right? So if you see this creative, what's wrong in this creative? Anyone? Anyone, like, what's wrong in this creative? Or what can be improved in this creative? Okay, let's say this. Not very focused, okay. What's that? Someone said something there, right? Ad image is not clear, absolutely right. Too much, who said that?
Too much text.
Exactly, you're absolutely right. Too much text, right? So it's confusing people. So what we did was exact three things. So if you see three creatives, the way it's done on mobile, and I'll show you free apps which you can download on your phone. So which one do you think is more engaging? This one or the previous one? Right? It's very, very simple, right? So what we came up with the solution is create to convert, because we wanted to create lightweight images or lightweight videos which you can create from mobile, because your audience is consuming your creative on mobile. So you have to design a mobile because people are spending time on mobile, right? So what we did was 4 things we covered. So what I'm trying to say is basic in motion. I'll show you what I mean by this. Then what the brand is in motion doing, what are the benefits. So let's say as a t-shirt, what is the benefit of people should buy and how they should buy, for example, right? So this is a brand in based out of Southeast Asia. It's called Kayak. It's a travel brand. So this is the images before the ad, right? And what they did was they followed that from 2 videos to a 4 video principle, right? And it led to a higher increase in search. So if you see on the left, it's basic in motion, right? Then it's talking about the flight, it's talking about the brand, how you can go ahead. Then it's talking about price point because it's a benefit. What's the benefit of booking via Kayak? And the last bit is how you can go ahead and book, right? I'll show you a lot of examples on this, very, very simple. So basic, right? Right, so if you see So if you see carefully, right, it's sort of like GIFs or cinema graphs which are going on right now, right? They're going in loops right now, right? Which is being shown. So very simple to use. So again, let's make an example. So if you see, very simple to use. Now from basic, what we've moved is we moved towards brand and motion. Right, so if you see they're talking about the brand, right? So there's Ford, there's Dove, there's Zalora. They're talking about that brand. And then what happens is then they're talking about the benefit, right? So what's the benefit here? So Grab is talking about free rides, ice cream is talking about, Ben & Jerry talking about the April 4 offer. The bottom left is talking, Kayak is talking about price. So they're talking about different benefits. Okay, and the last bit is demo. So what does the app or whatever that website does? Right? All of this creatives which I was shown were made from these 9 apps. 10 apps, sorry. All of the creatives which I showed you in those 5 slides were made on mobile. This is a true story here at APAC Facebook is made through only these 10 apps. 9 out of these 10 apps are free. You can go ahead and download your phone and create that. I use Legend and Master Art a lot. You can create images, you can put videos, you can do lots of different things. The point I want to make here is what I have seen with merchants or sellers like you, you'll spend 90-95% of your time thinking about targeting, thinking about that niche, thinking about bid should be $5, thinking about that bid should be $10. You'll spend only 5% of your time designing creatives, to be very honest. And this is an example, if you think deep down, this is exactly what is happening. No. Question, what niche should we be targeting? Should we be targeting 18 to 34 million? These are the questions what you will ask. But what you miss out is on the creatives. If you figure this bit out, and if you move your 5% time invested to like 25%, automatically I can tell you, I can guarantee you your sales will go up. Alright, any questions before I take the last 10 minutes of the segment in terms of the upcoming product? Any questions there? So creative is pretty cool, right? So you're gonna download, people are gonna download the apps or no? Alright, what I want to now show you is, in the next 5-6 slides is what are we thinking as a company as we grow. So if you see this, right? Okay, does anyone know when Facebook IPO was? Which year was Facebook IPO and which month? Anyone? Come on. There's a big hint there actually in the roadmap there. No one? Okay, I should have got a Facebook swag or something reward. 2007? No. 2007 is way back. 2000, who said? Who said 12? Yes, exactly. Do you know the month? No? Okay, it was May 2012 when the Facebook IPO was launched, and if you see the 3-year curve, to be very honest, till 2015 we didn't have videos. Videos on Facebook actually came in 2015. I remember when I joined in 2015, that was the time when the alpha test for video came out, and that's when it started. And a big focus for the next 5 years for us will be Messenger, video, search. I know a lot of people use Graph API. We've seen the number of searches on Facebook have really gone up. People search about brands, people search about local businesses. Soon, you will be able to target groups as a placement. So imagine. So imagine this: you have Facebook newsfeed, you have Instagram, you have audience network. Very soon, the alpha tests are going on right now. You will be able to target within groups. Right? Instagram, there is already advertising started in some parts of the world. Do you guys use Instagram stories? Yes? So we've started to have ads within Instagram stories now. So imagine like all 4 of stories are there, like all 4 of us, and in between there will be a brand ad which is there. For legal reasons, I can't tell you what's happening in WhatsApp. I don't want to get fired, to be honest. But I'll definitely show you what's happening in Messenger. Messenger is a big focus right now. There's been some tests in terms of ads going on within Messenger, which I'll show you in the slides as well. And then the long-term goal is, of course, there's a lot of connectivity, there's a lot of AI. I'm not too sure if you read today's article in TechCrunch about Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg. So Zuck said that. So basically, Elon Musk, who's the CEO of Tesla, right, and SpaceX, he said that AI shouldn't be that much investment, whatever, blah blah blah. And then Zuck said yesterday that why shouldn't be, because it's helping solve the human the cause in terms of medicine and different things, right? So there's definitely big investment in AI. A lot of different companies are doing it. And of course, last is VR. So I'm not too sure if you've used the Samsung Gear or VR. That's another, I'll probably say in the next 5 to 10 years, that's something which is pretty amazing. In Japan, we're seeing very, very good results with the Samsung Gear. Alright, I'll move on. Okay, in terms of videos, so why I keep on saying videos again and again is, if you go and scroll your newsfeed right now versus last year, the amount of videos which come are very, very high. Right? So I'm not even talking about paid, I'm talking about organic content. The organic content right now in videos is very high as compared to last year. The point is why we are saying, and I'll show you slides here as well, what we want to show, what we want to move towards is, we are seeing videos are more engaging. And that is why the reason I'm saying is that should be a focus to you. So whenever you're designing a campaign on Teespring, create a video using the apps which I showed you on video, because people are likely to consume that video in the US versus the static image. Right? So it totally makes sense to have a video. So these are different formats of video. Some are live 100%, some aren't. So vertical video is live, you've seen. Auto expand typically means is you stay on the video for 1 second, it will automatically expand. We're testing out sound on testing. So right now, if you know that sound off. So what happens is, if you stay on the screen for a second, automatically it will show, or sorry, the sound will start going on. Watch and scroll. So what it does is, if you see you're watching a video there, now suddenly you remembered something to do on the news feed. So you scroll the video down and you go to the news feed and the video on the right. So this is live as well. The last bit is not 100%. So this is basically, so watch and go, basically let's say you're watching a football or an NFL video here. You keep on the side, you move out of Facebook now. So it's basically, and the video is paused there, and the moment you go back, the video will start playing. The point I want to make in this slide is, there's definitely a lot of investment happening in videos. If you're not doing videos for cross-border, you're missing out on something. So vertical video, I talked about it. Cinematograph is something which is very, very popular. It's getting very popular, even in emerging markets like India. That is something, again, using the apps which I mentioned, you can go ahead and use. Driving sales. So this is something we're testing it out. Some parts is live. So we've this thing called lead ads. I'm sure if you've seen this. What now we want to focus now, we know this works. We want to focus this on Instagram. We want to run a lead ad within Canvas. So if people have run Canvas, within the Canvas, the lead completion will take place. And what we've also opened is our API, which typically means is, if you have a CRM, internal database, it will directly send the lead to your CRM. So you don't need to manually go and download an Excel. So it's a simple thing to use. It's an automatic pop-up. The data about 18 fields can be pre-filled because Facebook has that data already. So let's say you click on get started, automatically you see the name, email gets fulfilled because that's the data which Facebook is captured already, and then of course it's providing to you. So again, a very simple thing to use. This is live right now. I'm not too sure. You guys have seen collection as a format? No? Okay. So if you're running a website click or a website conversion campaign, this is something you can use. So if you see this, there's an image there, right, of that person. That can be image, that can be a video. And below, if you see carefully, there are different products there. We call this collection format because it's a collection of different products on the bottom and you have an image on the top. So this is something again very new, about 2 months back. This is which we have seen is early results in terms of conversions have been very, very good. Offer ads, this is something again we've tested out. This is live, this is 100% rolled out. So what you can do is you can run an online offer or an offline offer. So if you see this carefully, this is an offline offer ad. So you click on this, automatically a barcode comes in, and then you can go and buy. So you can go to a McDonald's, show the offer, it gets scanned, and then you can get a 20% discount. But what you want is, since you're selling online, is you can have an offer ad wherein you can have a promo code in. You apply that promo code in, and then the t-shirt price becomes from $10 to $4 or $5, whatever discount is. This is something again, we've been testing it out. Early results have been very, very good. Last thing I want to show you, 3 slides in Messenger is, so we did a search and we found that when you interact with a page versus you don't interact with the page. So let's say I interact with, let's say, Grameen Phone's page, for example, right? And I don't interact with Banglalink's page. I'm more likely to buy a Grameen Phone SIM or recharge versus Banglalink because I'm showing the interest in terms of interaction. So what we've seen is 68% people who message with a business, they are likely more to buy. And that's why we're kind of investing in a lot of Messenger now. So this is not live. The other things, these two are live. You're using our API, and I'll show you what I mean by this. Any gamers here? Okay, what game is this, sir?
Looks like StarCraft 2.
No, it's not StarCraft.
What is that?
Anyone wants to take a guess? Okay. Now? Yeah, Call of Duty, right? Exactly, right? So what we did was, early test in the US happened like 3 months back. So when you open a Messenger, that particular screen will open and show you the ad going on. And then once you click on that, the thread with the COD and the person goes up. So there is a bot here. You can have a human interaction here as well. But the point we are saying is, there is brand awareness. You saw the ad, you click on that, and then you start interacting with it. For you, a business like you, what the interesting part is, you see the Get Started button there? So once you click on that, automatically the thread starts opened up between you and the page, and you can select clothing, so whatever, and then you can select whatever you want to buy, you want to select the size, those sort of content or narrative you can go ahead and prepare and tell to that API. So all this is possible right now. You just need to have our API used and gonna create that. Bots is something we are getting very, very popular. It's worthwhile if you're getting a lot of messages on your page to have a bot as well. Last couple of slides, what the other thing we're testing is, so if you see the send message button here, so via traffic, what we are trying to do is, you click on this and automatically it'll open a thread between the page and the person. So imagine this as, instead of a traffic to a website, it's traffic to the Messenger. Alright, so very simple, no brainer here. Last thing which we were testing is sponsored message within your news feed, or within your Messenger feed. So let's say I open Messenger right now, right? If you see the top button there, that's an ad actually, Jasper's Market. So what we're testing it out is, if a page has been interacted with thousands of businesses, so that means there is demand, people are likely to buy and they're likely to inquire. So what we're giving them an option is, you can target within the Messenger. So the first here is an ad, and the person goes it, there's a sponsored message there. Right? The last slide I'll probably say before I give it to Zafid is, if you want to learn anything, and I know he's been the champion in terms of running Teespring, and he's also helping build a community in terms of education and digital. We have created a specific module for people in Bangladesh. So if you go to facebook.com/blueprint, you can learn practically anything about Facebook. There are 150 modules, but what we have done is we've kind of worked together and kind of created a basic module of about 25 sort of set of modules. So instead of 150, we don't want you to go to the entire blueprint right now. If you want, go ahead, go to certification. But to get that basics right, it's only that 20 to 25 modules which will help you, which I think should take not more than 3 hours of your time. You can spread it across. It's not necessary to do the 20 modules in one go. You can do 2 modules, take a break, whatever. The point I want to make here is, this is some experiments I've done in India. People don't know the value of Facebook right now, and then they go to different blogs to learn about this. They'll ask different people. What happens then is you get different advices from different people. So my sister will ask me something, and then she'll go to a friend and say, hey, but Mahima said this, right? And I was like, okay, but I'm telling you, right? I know how the algo works. The point I'm trying to make here is, this is the official content which we have certified, we have tested. He'll send you across a link which we've kind of created for the 20 modules. I suggest you go through it. What you've seen, the impact is really, really drastic after you've done the kind of module. The kind of campaigns you create, the kind of questions you ask become a little mature. So I'll take a pause here. That was my last slide because I had a minute and 15. I did a minute and 15. Happy to take any questions if you guys have. Any questions in terms, so I think there was some questions about, someone said about, this is approved, yeah. So, couple of things I'm working on, to be honest. One is, first of all, our policy is getting very, very strict right now. I won't name the country but we call this low quality advertisers. So I'll tell you the hack which people do, which I'm assuming must be probably prominent in Bangladesh as well. People copy content, right? People copy designs, and then they copy that and export that. The point is, we are going very, very strict against things like fake news, things like fake design, things like policies. This will only get stricter. Having said that, there were some incidents which he wrote me about. So what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to work with this team called Business Integrity, which deals with policy. So we're trying to understand whether how many flags off in terms of ads, in terms of pages were right or wrong. And then we want to create like a specific I'll probably say sort of a URL, so that once you write to that and we know we have wrongly disapproved your ad, it will lead to a faster approval rate. So the only thing I'll probably say is, don't go with a shortcut, to be very honest, because if it flags one, it flags twice, you get a third warning, the page is taken down. And your hard work of building that page, building community goes down. So we have seen in other markets, without naming, people use a lot of shortcuts, then they go to different IDs. We're just getting started in terms of strictness. Fake news was a big lesson for all of us. There's a big initiative which I've taken. I'm not too sure you read it. It's called the Journalism Project, which is going globally. There are like thousands of engineers just working on how to cater to fake news. So this is just going to get stricter and stricter. So I just say stick to the policy lines. Any other questions before I give it out to Zafir? Yeah, go ahead.
Doing photo ads and video ads, which is more effective
For conversions or for?
for conversion?
So I typically have seen in mature markets video works well. So if you're targeting a US versus in India, I'll probably say US, the video will work, versus India, the carousel is likely to work more because the bandwidth issue is there, people are not able to see the complete video. Having said that, two things I will say on the video. Don't have a video more than 15 seconds. If you can have short form videos of 5 to 6 seconds, we have seen the impact goes, I don't know, YouTube calls it bumper format or something, I don't know. But that's what it says, right? It says bumper format, if I'm not wrong, YouTube. But we are moving towards a direction which we call pocket TVC. So TVC, traditionally have been 15 seconds, 30 seconds, TV ads or one minute. We want to move towards short form. And if you see and you research about it, Unilever, all P&G is moving towards short 6:6 form videos. Well,
Facebook launch any new ad techniques or some new techniques, then from where we will know about that?
Fair question. Just like this, I think I forgot to mention the URL. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. So there, just like this URL, facebook.com/blueprint. There is a URL called facebook.com/business. Business. So instead of blueprint, it's business, right? And whenever you go, you will find all updated products there. One thing you should also do is follow the Facebook page of Facebook for Business. Right? So there is a Facebook page which is there, It's called Facebook for Business, and all update products are there. On that Facebook business page, there is a blog as well. So all our new products, when they are externally 100% launched, you can read blogs as well.
If we need any support or if you have any question,
Facebook.com/business/resources. But I'm working with him. So what we're trying to do is, and I'm working with a bunch of players as well, that if you can help create a pool of questions that I can answer weekly, I'll be happy to do it. But to answer to any immediate question, every advertiser here, if they spend a minimum of $1 in the last 28 days, will get access to either email or chat support if they go to facebook.com/business/resources.
Suppose I am not a developer, how can I easily set up Facebook Messenger bot easily? Because last time I gone to a developer and he suppose asked me about 50,000 BDT for developer Facebook Messenger boot. And another thing is that you said that if I use minimum $1 last 28 days, I will get suppose email support or live chat support facebook.com/business/resource. But the sadness is that I have used more than $100 last 28 days, but I did not able to see that option.
So if you not just flag this off, give me your ad account ID, I will look into it. Technically for everyone, it's there. It's there. To answer your first question, I think the best person to answer that, there's this person called Arif. Arif runs the Facebook developer circle here. There is a Facebook group called Facebook Developer Circle. I won't be the best person, to be honest, answering that. If you remember last time when Digital World was there, Sagar was presenting. He's from a developer team, to be honest. I'm more on the ad side, but you can join this group called Facebook for Developers from Bangladesh, I'm saying. Arif does weekly or bi-weekly catch-ups. He'll probably be the best person. I know for a fact we've done for 2 local players. I don't know the agency which have done it, but even in Bangla content we've done.
Yeah, okay. And another answer?
So second answer is it?
Yeah. About mail and such.
Oh yeah, so you let me know if you let me know the ad account and the page name.
Actually, I have 2 ad accounts in my Facebook account assigned. One is flagged and another is running from my credit card. So is there anything that when
Why was it flagged?
Actually, that was using PayPal account who is owners from USA. Maybe probably for that reason. Because my Facebook account information and ad account information does not match.
Okay. So let me know, let Zafar know, I'll probably sync with him. Technically, as I said, all people or all advertisers who spend even $1 last 28 days get email or chat. I haven't heard this issue, to be honest, before. But if you're facing that, just flag it off and I'll ask.
Yeah, I already discussed this with Saipur Bhaiya, so he already know this about it. Okay, no problem.
Sure.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Actually, my question is about flagged account. Flagged account. Actually, we all know we have Facebook account. Some are 3, 4, even 5, 6 years old. Actually, we are running Facebook ads by your account, but sometimes Facebook is blocking our or banning our ad account for silly reasons, and it's for lifetime. Actually, they can do it for some just silly mistakes, and they are not willing to reactivate it. They can do it for 30 days or 40 days for the first time. Actually, those accounts are for so many years, and when they suddenly broke the account for lifetime, it's too sad.
Sure. So I totally empathize with you, to be honest, because you've taken 4 years to build that page and build that community. I'll say 2 things here. As I said, right, I'm working with the business integrity team to figure that bit out. I talked about that already. The second bit is, I said, I'm not pinpointing you, but more so not copying, doing wrong things against the policy has been happening. I have seen this happening in Bangladesh, in Vietnam, in India, in Indonesia. The point, that's why I said, in the earlier part, like 2 minutes back, right, our policies are going to get stricter. Because we call those LQ or low quality advertiser. So there'll be one warning which comes in your ads manager. If you don't adhere to it, then only you will block. So the first warning every time will come. And then the second. But at a macro level, as I said, I'm working with the business integrity team to figure out whether you were right or whether you actually did something wrong in terms of doing wrong on Facebook so that your account is blocked. So at a macro level, as I said, give me some time. I'm kind of working on that right now. So the question there?
Actually, I know some people who create ad manager using Malaysian virtual credit card, and they usually sell that ad account, and some people purchase that, and they basically use so many dollars in their account, like Malaysian ringgit, and sometimes it's happened that they just loaded 200 ringgit, but they did not start any ad, but their ad account get flagged. Is there anything?
Yeah, so I'll tell you, you're doing the wrong thing, right? In a way, you're not using your credit card and you're using someone else. There's wrong information. That's why the Payoneer folks are here, right? So you should have a Malaysia BDT. You should have a Payoneer card here, right? I'll tell you what's wrong there. So what more so not we figured out is people have tied up with whatever PayPal, as he said, or something, and the same PayPal account is being used across different ad accounts. So sometimes what happens is, in terms of getting money or when that PayPal account gets flagged or whatever, then it gets impacted towards ad account. That was the exact reason when I was talking to Zafir is that, so there's a big payment issue in Bangladesh which I'm solving right now, to be very honest. One hack is, if you guys want to know, is we've been working with the multiple agencies which have agreed to give you a credit line. So let's say you're spending, I don't know, like $1,000 a month. They will charge you a certain commission, like a 5 to 10%, and you can pay them locally via Bcash, and they will transfer the money to Facebook. That's their own headache. That's one. The other is, of course, there's the folks here from Payoneer. What the issue there is, I'm telling you, is you're not using the right channel for payment, to be honest. It's sort of like an illegal way, what you're trying to do on hack. And that's why I said in the early part of in my talk right now here is, it's going to get stricter towards policy because we want to remove bad actors. In APAC, there's certain countries, if I give you examples, you'll be pretty amazed what the hacks they're doing. So we want to curb that.
Okay, this was my curiosity. That's why I asked.
Sure, no worries.
And another thing is that sometimes we using suppose prepaid card like EPL, Eastern Bank Limited gives Aqua card or Lifestyle card. So sometimes if we give ad like with that card, so our ad account get tracked.
This I'm not aware.
Local bank prepaid card.
Local ones, so we don't recommend it.
Oh, this I'm not aware of
It's
this.
here, the cards are free, so we really don't.
No, that is not free. They charge about 600 BDT.
But the local bank is also charging you more than this. More than this, way more than this.
Oh, sorry, I'm not aware of that. I'm really sorry. I'm not aware of that.
No, the thing is that suppose our local bank, one bank. So what is the sell performance will be? Like anything that audience love to purchase from verified Facebook page or audience love to purchase from unverified Facebook fan page, and what is the basic reaction of audience when they see a blue tick verified Facebook fan page and when they did not see a,
Sure. So we haven't, from a celebrity perspective, content perspective, there's a lot of difference. So let's say I am a blogger, then yes, there's a lot of difference. From a buying perspective, I haven't seen a research internally which says only have verified, then only do conversions. I haven't seen that study. But to your question, if you're talking about content, I'm blogging, I'm posting videos, then yes, verified versus non-verified does make a difference.
Okay, another one question that people from around the world is doing advertisement, right?
Yes.
And what is the percentage of investment from Bangladesh to the global market?
No, I can't share that.
Just percentage. I just want.
I love my job and I want to go back to Singapore.
No. This is just for an idea that how much we are Bangladeshi are investing in Facebook or how much we are
Very less.
in Facebook.
Very less. So advertise more. That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
All right. One last question and then I'll give it to Zafi. No? Okay, alright. Thank you guys. I hope you took away something from the presentation. There were some learnings. As I said, I will share the deck with Zafi here. And feel free to post on the group. I will work with him on a weekly basis. to kind of answer all questions which you might have. Thank you.
সো আপনারা তো বুঝতেই পেরেছেন শুধুমাত্র আপনাদের জন্য যে সিঙ্গাপুর থেকে এত দূরে এসেছে এবং এত লম্বা একটা প্রেজেন্টেশন দিয়েছে আপনারা তো তার সম্মানে আসলে আমরা ওরকম তার অনারে আমরা ওরকম কিছু করতেই পারি না, রাইট? তো ওরে এখন আমরা শেষ, স্পিচও দেওয়া শেষ। আমি যতটুকু জানি যে ইন্টারন্যাশনাল যে ইভেন্টগুলো হয় ওগুলোতে এত বড় স্পিচ ফেসবুকের পক্ষ থেকে দেওয়া হয় না। আপনারা কতটা লাকি, এবং এখানে এমন কিছু ফিচার দেখানো হয়েছে এখনো অন্য কোথাও দেখানো হয়নি, আপনারা জেনে ফেলেছেন। তো কতটা লাকি, ইউ ফিল প্রাউড অবভিয়াসলি। তো ওনার অনারে আমরা প্লিজ আমরা একটু দাঁড়িয়ে তালি দিব, একটু করতালি প্লিজ। অনার টু Thank you very much for coming. Thank you for the presentation. তো এখন গেস্ট চলে যাবে, আমরা আমাদের ইভেন্ট কন্টিনিউ করতে থাকবো, হ্যাঁ, বিকজ ওনার অনেক টাইম স্পেন্ড করা হয়েছে। তো আমরা আমাদের পরবর্তী হোস্ট করবে হচ্ছে রাজীব ভাই হাতে ছেড়ে দিচ্ছি, এবং আমি গেস্টকে নিই। হ্যাঁ, ব্রেক। ওকে, আপনি বলে দেন রাজীব ভাই। এখন